All right, good morning and welcome to our channel today. As we have entitled this, How to Destroy the Housing Authority and Landlords. But I want to give a little clarity before we move on. I'm not here to teach you guys how to destroy good landlords or to deal with housing authority employees that are operating ethically. What I'm suggesting here is whether you're a renter or you're participating in Section 8 programs or any other federal housing program, including subsidies or continuum of care programs, that when you have problems with discrimination and other issues related to policy, procedure, federal code, I'm going to give you a toolbox of tools that I've really never released, okay? Now, I want to mindfully give you one example here before we get started. Number one, if you own a car and it breaks and you decide you're the smartest person in the room and you run to the library and you get you a mechanical guide, does that mean you can go and change your transmission, right? Can you fix it? So while these are tools and they do dictate both state and federal policy, it doesn't necessarily mean that many of you may be successful in your argument against the problem that you have. However, we have a lot of intellects. There are a lot of people that used to be somebody, used to be lawyers, paralegals, engineers, and many others that now are retired, and by proxy, life happens. You're now somehow in Section 8 or federal housing. But these are the real tools that a real consultant uses. This is what distinguishes myself operating in federal programs against all the other entertainers on YouTube, okay? I'm an actual consultant, and these are the tools that we use. And since I'm near my retirement, I don't see any objective reason not to publish these things. So now one problem we got already is this is a live video, so I cannot just show you my computer screen. So we're gonna have to do this the rough way. I'm going to publish links in the live chat, so you should be able to see that on your phone or on your TV. And you're going to have to go to those links to view what we're discussing. Otherwise, you're just going to have to trust me, okay? That being said, let's get up to the first links here. First I want to provide for you is Title 24. This is going to be CFR, or better known as Code of Federal Regulation. This regulates virtually all federal rules and policies regarding housing, including how to deal with many different circumstances in which you may have been unfairly dealt with. And again, the premise of the video is not to damage or hurt any housing authority that's operating ethically, if that's even possible, or good landlords. These are for you that have circumstances where it's difficult. So Code of Federal Regulation, especially when you get into the section, and I'm going to wait a minute for you guys to join me there on that link, you'll see under Title 24 and subtitle A. Now, there are roughly 4,000 codes. Okay, that's a lot to read. But under A, when you click the little down arrow button, you'll see standards of conduct along with many other reforms. And you can also see that there are federal penalties and civil penalties for bad behavior. Okay, put simply, it also goes on to describe the many protections that are afforded to you, whether you're in federal housing, as well as being handicapped, ADA compliance, and so many other things, including reforms. So this covers a lot. So generally, when law firms contact me, believe it or not, a lot of people that earn a law degree, they earn it generally not practicing federal code. And even if they do or have Code of Federal Regulation in their office by a book, or they're using online registration, a lot of attorney in offices don't practice a lot of Section 8 matters because, well, fundamentally, the client doesn't have a lot of money. So they often will hire my office to help expedite that process, where we're able to navigate and quickly identify the rules and policies under federal code that would allow them to proceed in their court cases, okay? Beyond that, so you have Title 24. There's more here. Don't leave quickly, okay? Because you're going to find that these are very powerful tools. There's a big difference between you picking up the phone and asking your caseworker. You pick up, hello, is Sally there? Yeah, could you teach me how to get you fired? You see how that might not work? You need to be apprised of your rights. If you understand your rights and what responsibilities and what's afforded to you, it means you have the ability to be able to fight back, to weaponize your case. It also means that you have the ability to distinguish the difference between what is truth and what is bullshit. Do not believe in any moment in your life that just because your caseworker tells you something is the law or it's rule or policy, that that's actually true. There are many people that work at housing authorities and only been there a couple of weeks or months. They haven't read the first policy or procedure. They're unilaterally unaware of any federal codes. And so they'll have you believe whatever they say versus what reality truly is. And Title 24 really helps you with that part. So now that we've got the first link out, and you can also find these links in the description for my late arrivals, let's get on to HUD's handbooks. This is going to be the second most important aspect when dealing with policy and procedure. So let's grab that. I'll see a few people laughing. BMG laughing out loud. Would you like to enlighten me as to what's funny? All right. I'm going to grab that link for you guys real quick. Good morning, Happy Carrie, and thank you for joining the channel. The homeschool, the Homes Hoodler. Good morning. Love your content, professional insight. All right. Oh, the Sally thing. Okay. Look, man, I've been pretty much up in arms the past few days. We've been trolled pretty heavily in the channel. The more I release, the more trolling there is, and it's I tend to take that personally. I don't ever want to walk away and retire from a career and have people simply admonish me for giving away roughly a quarter of a century of my life to help people, and then have some jackass come in my channel and try to admonish me over that. It's the most upsetting thing in the world, but I'm learning to get around that mentally. So, all right, here comes the next link, guys. So again, these links will be in the description, and I may not have them all there yet, but by the end of this video, when I kill it, I'm going to put even more. Next link's going to be handbooks. 10,000. Okay, lots to read. So let's go over that. If you can, go ahead and navigate to your HUD.gov and then handbooks. Going to wait a minute for you guys. This is your second most powerful tool in your toolbox in dealing with this. From there, you have active housing books, 1060.3 through 4,000. And let me tell you, it takes you scroll a few seconds to 7,610 and it covers quite concisely every known aspect and project, its procedures and nuances. Okay. You don't have to worry about housing authority or its employees dictating how anything works. You can clearly, through these handbooks, see exactly how this is administrated. You've taken the complete mystery out of it. So in a matter of just moments here, in the first 60 seconds, I've given you 2 nuclear weapons, okay? They don't get any better either. So those handbooks, you can identify the programs in which by you're affected, and you can learn by virtue what your rights are, okay? Look, some of that's going to be a little bit of Navajo, okay? I don't expect everybody to read it and understand it. Again, if the car's broke, you go to the library, you get a mechanical guide. Doesn't mean you're going to be changing that transmission. Guys, if you're struggling with problems and you don't know how to use these tools all the way, then you might want to reach out to me, okay? This is what I do for a living. So, by way of introduction, my name is Jay. I am the owner of Section8Consulting.com. I'm not an attorney, but I'm almost as good as any federal attorney, okay? So, but moving on from there, moving back, we're going to discuss policy, procedure, and administrative plans now. We're moving quickly, guys. We're moving quickly. So let's give an example today. How do you get, if there's a handbook for a housing authority, right? So let's talk about that handbook, the very thing they operate by, the thing they usually weaponize against you when they want you gone or have an issue with you. Now, what's funny with most housing authorities is they're very selective about how much of that administrative plan, rules and policies they even put on their website. Just the parts that are non-confrontational, like how do you do portability, right? Sometimes nothing. So let's discuss how that might work out. So I'm going to give you a example. Copying another link. Get ready, guys. We're linking everybody to death. All right. All right, so take a look down there. We got a link, and I'm going to bring you to our friends over there in Beaumont, Texas. They're nice enough to put their policies procedures, and forms. Take a look at that real quick, guys. They're linked up. It says changes in status, HCB administrative plan, September 2024. There's that administrative plan we were talking about. I'm going to click on that. Voila. You have 366 pages of pure glory. Though I'm a bit concerned about how dated that is, May 1, 2024. Okay. So you likely want to do a FOIA to get the most current copy. But you ever wonder when you get hit over the head by a stick by the housing authority, it's that administrative plan that's getting you, and most of them are not going to publish that. So I commend the Beaumont Housing Authority for its complete and absolute transparency in doing that. Though I do have some concerns that that's a little bit old. I would think by now they'd have the 2025, but you know how that goes. When you've only got $1 for IT, you may not be able to update it. So what happens when they don't have this? And you want to understand, well, they're making decisions about me being a bad person and wanting to kick me out or saying I'm violating rules. How are they making these decisions? Why won't they tell me anything? Why won't they answer questions? Well, it's very simple, guys. FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, FOIA. So you Google that, and then you're able to send, you go down to your USPS, your post office, with a tracking number and request from the housing authority, send it to in-house counsel, or send it to the legal department, or send it to the manager, and request a complete and the most current copy of the administrative plan, which will outline everything. Okay. Rules, policies. Now, some will try to preclude policies and procedures. Yes, procedures are very important because it's how they deal with their decision making. Okay. Now, it's going to be a while pain in the ass for them because most of them are using electronic versions, but you have that right. Do remember when the housing authority, okay, when they created that name, the public housing authority, when they put the word public in front of it, it means that they agreed that this is a public venue and that they would have to provide all information. It's like a free legal subpoena. Okay. So now that the housing authority has the rules and the ability to hit you over the head with a stick, you too have the rules and you also have a shield there. Okay. Every manual includes one bat and one shield. The difference is housing authorities don't like to publish the shield. Okay. And what I mean by that is policies, procedures, and administrative plan. Third most powerful tool in your toolbox, and you need that specifically. Why? Because Title 24 is overall and broad guidance about a lot of different things and can be weaponized, very well weaponized very well. Also, your handbook shows the systematic procedure which housing authority should be operating. And look, administrative plans and policies and procedures by the PHA, when you request that FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, it means that, yeah, they designed that. But let's talk about the fourth element. Not every administrative plan was written and is fair. In other words, that's not Moses. You can carve all the shit you want in that stone tablet, but it don't mean it's reality. And so some administrative plans actually violate federal rules, even though they've been oversighted. Okay. So who decides administrative plans and policies and procedures? Well, of course, the housing authority, each time you make a problem and you win, they get a chance next year to rewrite those policies to favor a way to make it unwinnable. You see the point? So the sword and the shield being policy and procedure. Well, let's talk about where they get this, because you don't just wake up one night as a housing authority, as a manager, and go, well, I'm going to write some policies and procedures and administrative plan, do you? Let's go to Nan McKay. Let me show you who the devil is. Now, this company by itself is not really the devil, okay? But what they do is questionable in terms of what it does. It's not fair, it's not balanced, but I'm going to balance the game for you today. So I'm going to look up Nan McKay real quick. I probably should have done that already. Nan and McKay Associates, Inc. Boy, your guys, I tell you what, today your eyes are going to be opened. You were blind and now you're going to see. Nan McKay. And copied in live chat link. There it is. These are the people that do all the policy writing for just about virtually every housing authority in America. And guess what's so beautifully put on their website? Let's take a look at Nan McKay, guys. Go ahead and click that link for me. Let's go on a little Easter egg hunt and figure out what exactly housing authorities, why they need Nan McKay. So we get in that website for Nan McKay Associates Inc. All right, and we go over to HCB and public housing, and then there is all the programs and products. But if you go over a few more links, you'll see training products. Come on, let's do a clap along. We're going to get there. Course catalog. Here it is. And so you see, for just an easy little payment, you can get all the stuff. Their HCB eligibility, financial accounting reporting, quality standards, HQS or housing quality inspection, HCB program management, BPMs. You can learn how to be an HCB specialist. Imagine all the things you can do with all this right here. It just tells you this will teach you how to operate your own housing authority. It'll teach you what everybody's doing in there, rules, policies, and procedures. So congratulations today. You just learned how to open your own housing authority. You learn how to train yourself to be as smart as the top guy in the housing authority, and you've got all their training materials for an easy, low cost. Because that's what Nan McKay does. It trains the housing authorities how to do everything they do in those offices. You didn't think they went to college for that, did you? So, recap. Federal Code of Federal Regulation. The wrecking ball you can't defeat, where you learn all the rules at the federal level under Title 24. The HUD Housing Handbooks, which I published, over 10,000, covers every program out there and covers how they should operate when they're operating outside the bounds of federal rules and so on and so forth. Number 3, dealing with the housing authority, getting their administrative plan by using FOIA or Freedom of Information Act to request the administrative plan, policy, and procedure, and learning who writes that, and then going directly to Nan McKay Inc. that will teach you how to do every single job in their office and all the rules they play by. Now, did I just burn the housing authority down when I did that? I just threw it all out there. That's everything. So anybody who wants to run their mouth on my channel about I'm here to be an entertainer or to run out here and do children, be a party clown for a children's party or bake cakes and do fidget spinners, let me put you on notice. I've been doing this 25 years. The very reason I have all that and no other person on YouTube does is because they're not a real consultant at the federal level. This establishes that very quickly. I'm a wealth of information, and I don't need to even read from that. I can verbatim most of that. That's why up to 200 law firms and private ESQs a year contact me, because I can quickly ascertain what's going on in their court case, bring them the federal codes they need in order to destroy the other party, which is usually the housing authority, if not the attorney for the landlord or corporation that usually screwing mostly over. Okay. So we made ourselves very clear, haven't we? It's funny how when careers end, the truth comes out, don't it? So I had a lot of people question my integrity. Well, I don't think there's anybody left in the market that's survived nearly as long as I have. And it's because I know. So let me put up the links for you guys again. We're going to do Title 24. We're going to do the handbooks. First 2 links right here. Then we're going to do trading products, Nan McKay, so it'll teach you how to do every job in the housing authority and also show you all the underwritten policies and procedures that have ever been created for housing authorities. Tomorrow, you can apply to be the manager or executive level manager for the PHA. You'll know how to do their job, all the rules, how they play the game, and you won't have to depend on that. And also, you can do open FOIA, open public request, or Freedom of Information Act, direct the PHA or public housing authority, or subsidy. And from there, you'll be able to determine everything that they make the decisions, how they're going to deal with you, and how they will arbitrarily deal with you. And so that gives you a portion of the toolbox. I gave you the best stuff today. But there's even more, to be honest with you. If I had to wrap my career up at 25 years, we would have to roll through roughly about 28 different telephone books, and we would read for a couple of months straight. No shower, no meals, and just talk for, I don't know, about 4 months straight. And at that point, I could bring you to current. Then we could spend another 10 years to see whether or not you could actually not only read, but also understand and implement these policies, and then whether or not you're successful in your efforts. Grand total there, you need a good 20 years to know what I know. Okay? So let me get on the comments here. Oh, forgot Nan McKay. There it is. So I'll put Nan McKay again. Oh, sorry, I did that. So if you are arriving late, we provided links for federal code. We have put all HUD's handbooks out there. We've discussed how to deal with the PHA through a FOIA or Freedom of Information Act to get the administrative plan, rules, and policies. And then we skipped over to Nan McKay, which underwrites and trains virtually all PHAs in the nation. So those 4 instrumental tools there cover a lot. All right, so move back to comments. Good morning, sir. BMG's laughing out loud. Boy, y'all a quiet crowd this morning. I drop a bomb today, and you guys just sit there just quietly. I guess everybody's reading, huh? Hi, Bear. Good morning. BMG, Sally Thing. Yep, old Sally. Jackie Miller. Oh, by the way, I want to bring up one thing. I'm going to take a sip of my Red Bull. I feel such cheer and delight when I'm able to give you guys some actual weapons to use in the system. I'm looking for a couple of moderators. If you have membership through our channel, and you're a recognizable name in our live chat, I'm looking for a couple more moderators. This will help us with the issue we sometimes have, and that's where people come in the channel and say things that are, prejudicial and other things like that, and they make threats and other stuff, or they just say things that are just wildly inappropriate. So if you've been a member of our channel for a while, try reaching out to me or my office. Try to get at least 2 moderators for the morning and 2 for the afternoon. I've got 1 so far, but I will need to recognize you as I've been here for a while, okay? If you meet those criteria and you're a member of our channel, then I'm willing to consider that. The channel's grown vastly. I mean, we're at 60,000. Probably on midsummer we'll be at 100,000, which is good because I've had to work pretty damn hard to get the YouTube award, and that'll happen at 100,000. Look, I could make subject matter about anything in this world and probably would have been there a decade ago, right? But I'm talking about Section 8, so it's not a wildly popular topic. So to unmask 60,000 to 100,000 subscribers is no small feat, okay? It's not like I'm talking about things that are extremely popular. So, I mean, look how long this has taken, 15 years. All right, so moving on from there. Edwin Owens, as painful as it may be, we need reforms because of immigration. Oh, the old immigration thing. Yeah, well, that's how it goes. An issue that'll last a lifetime. Well, it's going to be funny when we leave the Earth because all the Martians are going to kick our ass off their planets too. They're going to start talking about immigration. What are you doing here? You got to go, Flo. CD, we're in information age, and ignorance is choice. It is. But let me tell you something. Housing authorities and federal policy isn't necessarily just out there for the public, okay? A lot of things that let me give you a really prime example. In the state of California, I ran across a housing authority that was so mischievous that when they designed their website, they deflected from using any keywords that relate to the words housing, voucher, Section 8, anything. Therefore, they operated by acquiring federal funds, but virtually addressing nobody because they were almost at a point where they could not even be found. The few words they did use, they used high legal terms, which the ordinary searcher would have been able to find unless you were paralegal. If I was able to identify who they were, we ended up getting a slew of vouchers out of them because their only desire, their only Christmas wish was that we go away, because we wrote them several demand letters to our attorney's office, and we discussed whether or not we were going to use a media packet to announce to announce the arrival of a housing authority that was virtually invisible by choice and by deception. And so their remedy in argument to our office was, well, we'll give you what we've got as long as you're quiet, as long as you go away quietly. We gladly accepted that. And then after we got what we wanted, of course, we published a media packet and ruined them because I don't negotiate with terrorists. And it was quite funny. I'll tell you another good story. City of Seattle. They actually had the nerve, and this was years ago. They don't do this no more, but during the pandemic, the city of Seattle had the nerve to go, you know what? We have vouchers. We got 5,000 vouchers. And they said, basically on local news, they couldn't even give them away. Now, I was like a kid in a candy store. I couldn't believe how they would solicit such an ignorant thing to say. I must have ran 500 clients through that office. We had voucher party for about 5 months. They didn't even understand where the hell all these people were coming from. I was running people through there like a choo-choo. And so they said they had a problem, and all I did was offer to help them. And of course, I got audited after that because it got the eerie of HUD. They didn't understand why we would try to push nearly 500,000 people through there. But then, as I mentioned to them, they made a public announcement suggesting that they could even give vouchers away, that they had operated ethically with no advertising, no notices, and that they just couldn't give them away. They were literally putting vouchers under the potted plants to keep the water off the table. So I assisted them and making their ass super busy, and then I drained them for every voucher our office could possibly get for clients. These days, they're very careful how they smack their lips on the news. Okay? They no longer struggle with their previous disability of advertisement, because you got two choices. You can put it out there like you are supposed to in a public platform to allow people an opportunity to apparently get housing, or you can have our office come and ring your doorbell and we'll help you police every fucking voucher out the building. It was only perfectly fair, in my opinion. We don't need those people being air conditioned like they're at the zoo and not do anything. My God, clocking in, and the only thing we're doing is we're scrolling on Temu all day. I just wanted them to earn a paycheck, go home and not feel like trash for not doing their job. So, anyways, moving on down. CDW, we're in the information age. Moving on from there, Lorium, good morning. Carl Williams, good morning, everyone. Coding, good morning. Comment, okay, I don't speak whatever language that is. Good morning, appreciate you as always. Looking forward to your content. Thank you. Brandon Clark, good morning, everyone. Oh boy, there's a lot more comments than I thought. Skokie Land watching, thank you for this. Section 8 homes take on aroma of decades of diapers. I don't know that comment makes any sense. And it looks like it just got retracted by YouTube. You gotta be careful when you come in the channel. So many people have mental health issues. You come in the channel and you say some stupid shit, and then I got to put you out. Thankfully, YouTube just shows to do it for me. Why do that? If you know you suffer from schizophrenia, okay, you've already ripped your panties off. You're running around with a crack pipe in your mouth. You lost complete grip of reality. Now you're using your mommy's flip phone to get on my channel, and you barely can talk. You've already got a loose tooth, and then you flip out in here. You don't even know what you're talking about anymore. And so, I just think we have to have a psychiatric evaluation to let certain people in the channel. I believe in freedom of speech, but shit, man, I don't want to run a psych ward. So again, I repeat, anybody who wants to be a moderator, my God, I would love for y'all. If you're a member of this channel and you want to be a moderator, and I know or recognize your name, then I will consider putting you in here, because clearly we're also there's a mental health crisis in society today. And so we need to address that. So I'm going to do a third and final recap, then we're going to wrap this up. So for those that have already heard the story, then you can move on if you wish, or you can stay around if you wish. So first up in your toolbox, and again, We're going to go to Code of Federal Regulation, Title 24, and all those codes. This will allow you to understand rules and policies at the federal level and will allow you to be able to fight cases against both PHA and landlords, PHA referencing the housing authority. So that's going to be link number 1. We call it Title 24, and mostly you can find it under Cornell Law. All right, so there we go. Just drop that link in the live chat. You'll also be able to find these live links down in the description when I get an opportunity. I may even publish them in the comments section. Number 2, in your toolbox of weapons, you will also want HUD's handbooks because they're going to explain all the programs and the procedures behind utilizing those programs and your rights, okay? Covers a lot. So 10,000. Copy and paste. Here it comes. HUD handbooks. Housing, publishing it now. Very good tool to have. All right, third of that, the fun parts that I love. Now that you've got the outline and the overall federal law, and you also have guidance under HUD itself in terms of policies, rules, and how you're going to be dealt with, it's important that you request from your PHA, Public Housing Authority, their administrative plan. You can do so by running the post office with a tracking number and making an open letter and suggesting that you are requesting, because they are what public housing authority means they must, under open public request or FOIA, or Freedom of Information Act, turn over their administrative plan and policies and procedures. Do note, when you do that, you're looking at a lot of reading material. You could average 1,800 pages. Okay. Hopefully they'll send it to you electronically. But it'll tell you exactly how they operate, how they deal with you, what the penalties and rules are, and what your recourse is. Most housing authorities very selectively put excerpts from their administrative plan and policies and procedures to help with simple issues, but they don't ever put anything that would punish them. So this is how you play the game. Once you do your Freedom of Information Act, or FOIA, request administrative plan, and ask and make it damn sure you ask for the most current copy, okay? You don't want the one from 1973. Once you have that, you've got a real weapon there at that point. So to their sword, you now have a shield, okay? You can weaponize that horribly. Moving on from there. For those with the expanded intellect, they truly want to have refined understanding of the totality of the whole thing. Let's go on and visit our friends over at Nan McKay Inc. Love this company. So let me grab this link for you guys. We're going to go to trading products. We're going to discuss Nan McKay, my favorite friends. Ever wondered? Housing authority, somebody wakes up one day, I like a housing authority. I need to train all the people, write all my policies and procedures. Well, how do I do that? Nan McKay Inc. And if you go to the lovely website, you'll see all the training manuals. They'll teach you to be every employee in the building. They'll even show you their administrative plans, how it plays out, how they play the game. You don't get any better than that. That's the very company that writes the vast majority of every housing authority's policy and procedure for the country. Plus, they show you all the employees and what they're doing, how they do it, why they do it. These 4 things that I just discussed is enough to light a housing authority on fire and send them reeling. You add to that other things and learn how to weaponize media packets and many things my office does when we assist clients. Man, you're like Armageddon. There's lots of ways to play this game. That information alone there, constructively, is good enough for most attorneys to fight a case in court. You can weaponize your case pretty badly with this, because A to Z. That's the primary toolbox. There's a lot more to this. I'm only handing you a few cupcakes here. That's it. In future videos, we'll go through processes, okay? Because one thing is we're discussing knowledge today. Then we're discussing, after you get your dose of knowledge you've read, implementation. It means your trial and effort to weaponize these products to be able to defend yourself or argue a case. Then after implementation, we're going to talk about whether or not you're successful and what those options are, whether it's civilly or federally, and how to file on these people, how they have violated amendments and rules in your Fourth Amendment, and whether or not you're in trouble or they're in trouble. And then we get into topics and subjects, including arbitration, how to leverage them, how to discover the legal budget and then double what you sue them for, and then force them into what? Settling. And the settlement's not about money. Settlement is when you get them to agree to do the one thing they can't stand doing. And that's saying either they say they're wrong or they give you what you want. And most of them rather give you what you want to get you to go away than to do what? Make an omission of guilt. These tools do that. Okay, for those of you smart enough. And even if you don't get it and you feel like you're reading Chinese or speaking Navajo, it doesn't matter. That's not a testament to you as a person. It just means, like many things in the world, I'm helping you unravel this. I don't expect everybody here to understand to know what to do. These rules unilaterally also address landlords and the ones that are bad, the slumlords, and the ones that try to do whatever they wish to you, and hoping that you have an indefensible position because you're unapprised of your rights. I'm bringing your rights to your front door. Do you know what to do with them? So now, guys, you see this. Now you understand. You're starting to understand the magic world that I've had to operate in for 25 years. This is not a joke. Okay? You cannot use or weaponize your rights if you don't even know them. Many of you are indentured to the system, meaning you accept graciously the voucher. But yet you're tortured by the very people. You're victimized by the very people in charge of your cases. You believe everything that comes out their mouth, despite its direct reflection that there's no reality in the things they're saying under code, title, or act. So now you're starting to see there's a different way to handle this. You're also starting to see that you don't have to be a victim. You see that there's recourse, but it requires you being able to demonstrate the ability to apply this all successfully and fight a case, whether civilly, criminally, or at the federal level. And for those that have been rewarded greatly. Okay. That has been the core operation of my company, whether I deal with mostly multinational companies, whether I deal with law firms that don't necessarily practice federal code for housing, is to bring everybody current. So today was your exposure. Thinking about it, it's just like the first day of kindergarten. You're now the teacher's handing out the books. We're not here. I'm not going to go through 10,000 codes in this video. The goal is for you to be able to digest the first section of this. And we're going to progress through the holidays, and we're going to go deeper and deeper. And you'll start to understand how to do this on your own. Okay. Will it make you a consultant? Probably not. Okay. There are a lot of frauds that roll around my channel, hoping I would release just enough so they go out there and rob everybody, but I'm not going to do that. But I will get you pretty close. Okay. Moving on down. Little Dragon Painter. I bought a house with Section 8 voucher being displaced. I hope it will continue with the help of mortgage payments. I wouldn't know, man. You'd have to reach out to our office. What the administration, Congress, and the House vote and choose to do under executive order can change at any time. It's my hope that you're able to either achieve homeownership or keep it, depending on what you're trying to do. Donna Rigsby, when is the official retirement date? Let's be clear about what my retirement is going to be. It's kind of a fake retirement almost. Retirement will be January 1st. Now, what it is it's like a 90% retirement. I'll still be operable 10%. So January 1st, I'm letting go of our staff, the remaining 3. And what will happen is it'll just be me. I'll be as I've always been as a consultant, and I still handle small calls, 15 minutes and 30 minutes through our company's website. That'll remain live. And I will accept 3 half cases. What half cases are means that I will permit under special circumstances 4 persons to open casework with my office on a 6-month range. It means that my office will work for you 6 months to achieve or resolve whatever issue you're having, but the limitation will be 4. Okay. And that means the other 90% of my time I can spend doing what I wish. It'll be rather interesting because I also plan on traveling. So you quite possibly may be consulting with me while I'm in an RV in the mountains, in the snow, and so I plan on putting some of that Elon Musk satellite, so I have a good internet connection when I'm probably at 7,000 feet. Unless I'm in Colorado, I'll stop by the Indian casinos up in the mountains in Mile High. But otherwise, I'm pretty sure Montana and the Sierras and so on, you'll be consulting with me in probably some of the most beautiful places on the planet. If you're fortunate enough to catch me when I'm out there in Yosemite National Park, then we'll have a consult maybe at the park bench, because that's how I want to spend from here to the end. Okay, I'm done with the office, done playing house. Me and my 4 cats getting in that RV. We're going to continue to consult because I still want to be part of this, but I just don't want to do this stuff 10, 15 hours anymore. You guys almost killed me through the pandemic. I mean, I tried to help so many people that we literally were booked 2 months in advance. And I worked around the clock to the point that I went to an eye doctor one day and he looked in my eyes and he said, "Jay, you've got so many fat spots in your eyes that I'm in fear that you may have a stroke in my office." And he sent me to the ER. And so the combination of bad dieting, not getting enough exercise, being in the office and working 18-hour days almost cost me my life. And for what? What's the point of earning anything if you're going to be dead the next day? And so here we are, which I have another announcement coming about weight loss coming, because clearly I'm not going to I'm 280. I'm not going to travel around the country at 280 pounds. So, and I'm probably a little bit higher than that at this point. So I'm going to be looking at some dietary solutions. Now, many of you are probably aware of what's out there. And then you're going to watch me lose probably 100 pounds. This will not be easy, and it will be a combination of all kinds of efforts, both healthy eating, getting out of this damn office, and just enjoying life. I can't enjoy it in this office. I'm passionate about helping people. That's why I always have done this. I don't want to let it all go. So January 1st will mark my 90% retirement. And I may never truly retire unless I become old and feeble. I may never stop consulting because I have as much interest in all these changes as many of you do. We face a lot as a country through 2026, 27, 28, because they're changing the entire Section 8 system, federal code system, all the housing, how they're funding it. And so my interest is peaked as much as yours. So I like to be a front runner in learning how to deal with that system and make it favorable to those of you that need to use it or get around it. Okay. So hopefully that helps you kind of figure out that it's, for the most part, a full retirement with PT, part-time consulting. And I think that's quite appropriate. Small doses. Okay. I'm not looking to enrich myself. You can look in the background. I'm clearly not wealthy. So at best, mostly we'll just be doing videos, and these videos we generate, everything that we make from this channel, as well as memberships, I use on my rescue cats. 4 namely that are going to be going with me. I got a 26-year-old cat that'll be going with me, along with several others. I've got Bunny. He's got spina bifida, no tail, incontinence. I got cats with disabilities. I got cats that have been abused, and now they're with us. And so we're taking a trip, and we're going to enjoy the nicer side of the world. So didn't mean to share all that personal jazz, but I think I'm giving you quite a bit just in 4 links. And a lot of the stuff I've linked you up to, you can't ask for a greater sense of power in that. But I am concerned that many of you may not know how to carry out what you're reading, how to implement those things. And the reading materials are quite vast. And it's only a little bit. To give you the full library of what my office has, you would need about a half a terabyte. Okay? And that's not including experience, trial and error. There's lots of things in my early career that I tried to deal with landlords and housing authorities and even HUD that failed. But through trial and error, I learned out of 99 tries which things were quite effective. And of course, that's like most jobs. That's how you arrive at a way where you're able to circumnavigate a broken system and make it favorable to the client. Moving on down. Cutie Pie. It looks like the DSM book in mental health. They call it the Bible. I know quite literally what you're talking about, the DSM. I often reference that. I have a copy myself in the office. One thing most clients don't know when they book appointments with my office is roughly 40% of my clients that contact our office, whether for a short consulting call or whether they or their family purchase casework to help them get housing. Most of those clients, again, 40% of them have bipolar, schizophrenia, and much more serious matters. I have many that are disabled, as MD, MS, autism, on spectrum, Asperger's. And so my job as a consultant in the beginning, I thought was just to help people, but it turns out I had to adapt quite literally my conversation, state of thinking, the pattern of how I'm dealt people, and I had to reserve judgment. Every time I walk out my door and go to my office, what I did is I took my personal judgment and I left that shit at home. Because when we get in the business of judgment, then we can't do our job anymore. You're like a bad cop. And so, because I have to deal with people that may be living in a trailer park, living in the hood. I might be dealing with some uppity bitch that's middle class soccer mom, right? Or I may be dealing with a senior that could be in Oklahoma that's old fashioned. I have to be able to relate in order to get the cooperation of my clients. That means speaking trailer park, street hood, speak country boy, uppity New Yorker. I have to be able to translate and relate so my clients can understand I'm there to help them, not to injure them in the process. And so you see my career is a lot of I've dealt with seniors that are depressed, crying, and so we deal with a lot of mental health issues. So half of my job is just mentally keeping people's shit together, keeping their mind together long enough to help get through the process. That's half the job. I mean, Jay, I'd love to come do your job. Why don't you teach me how to be a Section 8 consultant? Well, I could, but you'd probably, within 3 months, be sitting in a psychiatric facility because you would consume so much of the ugly of the world that you would worry yourself to death. You know how many times I've had clients in their 90s that have contacted me living in cars. They're sitting there and the temperatures are below zero and they run the risk of dying. So what do? Do I drive home, make myself a cup of hot chocolate, pet my cat, and go fuck it and go to sleep? Or do I lay there that night and worry my ass off? I've also dealt with domestic violence victims. Let me tell you a little story. While I was on the phone with a client in California, a lady got stabbed to death. Okay? Stabbed to death while I was on the phone by the abuser. So do you think I went home and made myself a cup of hot chocolate and just watched as the world turns? I fell apart. I've fallen apart hundreds of times. People are like, are you still there, Jay? And they don't understand my silence. What can you say? You're trying to hold back, but how, unless you don't have a core, a soul, then how do you hold back? So the objective from tears at that point to see the ugly of this world is to take what I know, weaponize it to the maximum level, and absolutely fucking destroy the people that victimize people that need housing. So now you understand why I go after the housing authority and its employees and landlords. The bad ones, not the good ones. Now you understand what drives that. Evil drives what's happening. I drive it back, and I'm out there if I've got to burn the place down. Because there ain't nobody else out here. There are definitely other consultants. They clock in. They're on their fancy $1,000 iPhone. They make their money. They hang up and go home. They don't give a shit about you, partner. They'll do the minimum that's required, and you're done. You think they could draw one tear up your ass? It's just business, baby. I had at least 3 offers to buy my company, all 3 corporations. They'd like to 5x the price. They would like to subtract any emotion from it. And God knows there'd be any big battle or research required. You just end up with nothing, empty hands. No sympathy. And they wanted to do health screenings. Are you fucking kidding me? They wanted health screenings. In other words, if they perceived that you had a mental health problem, they want to fuck with you. You burn up too much phone time. That'll eliminate half the business out there. I was thinking this company wants to buy something they're going to destroy in about a month, and they're not going to have any business. They're not going to understand why. So you're telling me you would like to only purchase, you want to purchase a company to deal with the 1% of the highest low-income people? I'm thinking, man, this is going to go out. They're going to destroy my name and everything that I work for, and they're going to destroy themselves in the path of doing this. One of the offers we got was from a lobbyisting group. They wanted to politicize what I couldn't believe it. So what are we going to do? Yes, so you call, you book an appointment, right? Excuse me, are you a Democrat or Republican? Oh, you said Democrat? Well, we're hanging up, bitch. I was like, look, you people are crazy. I would rather just end the company, burn everything, and just let it go than to go through all that, okay? It goes against the very core and the purpose of any of this. You know, I've waited my entire career for somebody at the White House or even HUD to call me and say, hey man, we like to find out more about why you're doing what you're doing and why you want to help so many people. We'd love to get your opinion, but nobody ever calls me about that. Only people call me or the newspapers, Business Insider, magazines, and TV shows, basically. It's always the same thing. They like to know the opinion of the market because the wealthy need to know how to spend their money. It's never, the news agencies never call me, oh my God, how many people have you helped? How many people have you rescued from the street? It's never that. It's always because the wealthy need to read their newspaper and they want to know whether they can make some more money off low-income people off their back. A lot coming out today, isn't it? That's the great thing about retirement. I no longer care in terms of what I'm releasing into the general media here, because the truth needs to be told. And I don't really feel like writing a book. I considered that, and that's a lot. It would take forever. All right, so moving on from there, Carolyn Sims, I need a book session with it. You can book anytime you want, guys. I'll put up, let me put up our company information. Okay. So here's our website. Run into a problem. You have a problem with all the tools that I've given you, or you can't quite get through it. Number 2, you can take a look at our reviews. You know, the nice part about me is you got about 500 reviews. So unless I was able to hire half of India to write fake reviews, then I'm pretty sure that these people are talking about what I did for them. You can also check Google. Do you know on their 25 career is only cost me 1 negative review? 1. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Go to BBB. I've got 3 complaints. One lady gave me bad lip me because I gave her a refund. How horrible of me. I gave her a refund, So I have to draw lines, On Google, the one person with a problem with, well, they purchased casework and they were a sex offender and the worst kind, and mind you, with children. And so, barring a few profanities, I terminated their case, got rid of their ass. I don't serve the devil. You come to my company and we run background check and I find out you beat children, you beat the elderly, you beat women, or you fuck with your animals, I will terminate you. I will not give your money back. In fact, what I'll do is I'll serve you with several legal notices. It'd become a bigger problem to me than, we'll go to court and I'll dissolve your income for the next 20 years because you'll run out of money before I do. Trust me. But that's just saying what it is. I have a right as an American to determine who I do business with, and I'm not going to do it with horrible people, okay? You don't recover from that. You can recover from drugs and alcohol, but I'm not dealing with abusers, okay? All right, so moving on from there, if you want to make appointments, we have booking software here. And then I'm going to give you the reviews, and you can look at them. I've got a stellar reputation. 25 years, 4 negative, 600 reviews. And reviews. Here we go. If you like reading these. You know, you'll notice one thing about all the reviews, no matter where you go, is a lot of people left reviews that were very ingratiated. In other words, not only did they receive a service, but they appreciated the very fact that I saved them from destitute. That's not inoculated, and I don't deserve any chips on my shoulder or any award for anything, but you'll see that they were great for it. And one of the things I can tell you about that is I work in a rather thankless job, and so to be able to help them and see that it made that meaningful difference for them was the most important thing ever. All right, moving on from there, reviews. Linked up down there. There you go. There's reality. There's the truth. Moving on to comments. Leisha or Lashonda, I'm so glad you don't only look at dollars. Look, I booking appointments in my office is $45. Okay, you spend more money on the maid. The maid would want $400, right? Casework right now, we reduced that by 40%. You know, half a year of me working to deal with your case not only costs less than $600. If we do deductive math over 6 months, that's $100 a month divided by 4. Okay, so divided by 4 is $25 a week. Divide that by the amount of work I got to do. It means you're paying me about a nickel an hour. That's why I always love when people insult me about the cost of casework, because I don't think they own a calculator. Okay, I don't think they own one, though I don't really take payment plans. You know, for the obvious reason, I'm already being paid thin air, right? But I mean, $100 a month to $25 a week, you walk away with housing or your problem solved. That's a pretty good deal. Do you know any attorneys in town's going to work for $600? Do you? Do you know any of them they're going to bill you for $45 for a conversation? No. So why should I be ashamed? I'm not. Now that I'm retiring, I've lowered the cost and I've lowered the amount of time. We are entering in a new system, and I think it's rather reasonable. You know, though prices do change time to time, but that's reality. That's the truth of the matter. If I wanted to enrich myself, then I sure as the hell wouldn't be sitting in this right here. I would be joining you from a nice, beautiful paint job and a custom home, a $400,000 driving a Benz, and I would be a hell of a lot more arrogant. Because that's what money does to people. They make them not care and they become arrogant, entitled, centered. So clearly, if I had that kind of money, then I'm doing a very poor job of being an asshole. All right. And I shop where everybody else does. This is not a Gucci shirt, clearly. Okay. I don't buy my shirts at the dollar store. Not yet, anyways. Okay. But hey. Carolyn Sims, thank you. Hidden Knowledge, thank you, Jay. Thank you guys that are thanking me. So few do that. You know how many people I've actually got them out their car, got them in housing, and they hang up the phone, get what they need, and they never once thank me for preventing them from spending the next 3 to 4 years living on the sidewalk. I find it rather compelling that I would do so much to save their ass, and they couldn't even tell me thank you or fuck off. So my job can be quite thankless. So even you guys thanking me in this channel means a lot, because some of the years I was doing this, I wondered whether or not I was having any effect. Okay, at all. Nobody likes to do a job and just completely not be appreciated for it. It's not like I'm there to wash your car. I'm literally putting a roof over your head, or I'm preventing you from being evicted. Okay, or I'm defending you from losing a voucher or subsidy, and the only result back from that is silence. Like I'm an Amazon representative selling fidget spinners, right? I tell you, Americans can be a complex beast. You can do a lot for people, and then they turn around and treat you like trash anyways. It's an amazing place to live in America. All right, moving on from there. Linda Veal, thank you for the information. Lashonda, well, thank you, Jay, for all that you do. Well, thank you. So I'm going to be wishing all of you guys a happy holidays. We're going to keep making them videos. I don't give a damn about Turkey Day. Me and the cats we're going to be having chicken because we can share. So I'm going to roast the chicken for me and the Kikis. And we're going to watch TV, and we're going to make a couple of videos that day. Because look, at a certain point, guys, at noon, once you're finished eating your turkey, you can either watch TV or you can sit here and listen to me howl all day. Besides that, we're going to be releasing more policies and procedures here, and we're going to talk about how to handle the housing, how not to be handled by the housing authority and your landlord. Try to teach you guys the instrumental ways to drag both landlord and the housing authority's ass into court, how to shut that shit down, how to prevent being a victim from these organizations when they act in a manner that's unbecoming and in violation of both your private and personal rights and amendments under U.S. law as well as Code of Federal Regulation. Oh, I can be a beast when it comes to law. And no, I have no interest in becoming an attorney this late in my life, but it's sad that I probably read more federal code than most new attorneys have, but that's part of this job. You cannot go on to help anybody if you can't constructively understand the rules you're playing by. So that's the difference. We don't do tips and tricks here. We do the law. We do policy. We do procedure. We pull out the administrative plans. We look at all the program requirements, the terminology, recourse. We look at legal options, civil options, criminal options, federal investigations. We look at the rules and policies there, and we weaponize cases. I'm no joke. Most housing authorities that ever had intervention from me or my attorney, it ended really badly for them. And they were thinking very carefully for a number of years after that how they handled themselves. I am no joke. All right. Next video will be coming this afternoon. I'm going to do a couple of short videos for you guys for open waiting lists. We need to get this out there for you guys. Housing authorities are starting to open. Many of you are going to need a voucher, or maybe you're considering a subsidy. So I want to cover a couple of those. If I see anything on national news that strikes my interest, I may do a short video, my version of short, on the topic if it affects or plays out in housing. It's been quiet as crickets. In other words, you type into Google News Section 8 housing, or HUD, which are primary topics and keywords. It's been thin news, okay? Not much. Normally that stuff's filled. So the news organizations right now are more focused on Epstein than our national housing crisis and homeless crisis. So I'm trying to bring awareness because January 1st rolls around quickly. And when it does, we are subject to the king and queen. It means the new rules are rolling out, and it's going to be a rude awakening. Many of you have ignored my warnings, and they're snatching a lot of vouchers next year. They're disqualifying a lot and purging even more. Okay? HUD's new mission is no longer to serve the homeless. And for those that got a voucher, if your case was weak when you got it, then they may be pushing you out the door. We'll get into that. There's no reason to go home and be fearful. And last thing said before I shut it down, if you're 62 years and older, if you are disabled or a veteran, stop worrying. You're okay. If you're not, well, don't drink coffee late in the day because you have a little bit to be worried about. The cuts next year are going to take out roughly half of all people in the system. It ain't going to happen instantly, but it's going to happen. And also, January, February, March, and April will be further announcements for further changes. And for those who would argue, well, Jay, you just said last week, this is the circumstance. Look, this is the first presidential administration we've ever had, along with Congress, where they changed the rules. They'll say one thing one day, a week later, they add more or they reduce it. Okay, so any videos made under President Trump's administration, as well as this Congress, the videos are only good for a couple of days. Okay, I'm putting an expiration on all my videos of a couple of days. Okay, it's not my inability. Anybody accusing me, I will put your ass out the channel. I cannot stand people sassing my channel about that. As that life goes. So, guys, if you got your food stamps, you got your money, you got your family, you got your cats and dogs, look forward to next week. That's your chance to make up, see the family, enjoy life a bit if you can. Okay. I'm going to keep going. We'll see you later today.